Why is the range of an electric vehicle so important, and what other factors are there to consider when buying an EV? That's what we'll be talking about next, so let's get plugged in. Hello everyone and welcome to EV Source. My name is Harry and I'm your host for today's dose of EVs and technology. If you've been thinking to switch to an electric car, you've probably heard the term range anxiety. This is when you hop into an electric car and have a fear of the batteries running out before you reach your destination and thus leaving you stranded. This is why some people want to get as much range as possible from the EV they're thinking to purchase. But what about the fact that you can charge your car to full every night and start your day with a full charge each morning? Well, it's not as black and white as you might think. You see, not everyone has the luxury to charge their EV at home. There are many people living in apartments with no means of charging their car when it's parked in the parking lot or on the street. Many apartment buildings even today do not have a charging option for EVs, and those that do, there may be a day when there won't be enough chargers available for everybody unless there's an equal amount of chargers as there are parking spots. This means each parking spot would one day have an EV charger. Then there's those who have no choice but to park their vehicle on the road. So just like we have parking meters for each car, we would then have chargers on the street for those who park their cars on the road. But not everyone is going to appreciate having a bunch of charging poles everywhere, especially in narrow streets where pedestrians barely have enough space to walk on. There's definitely room to innovate further when it comes to the charging infrastructure in order for EVs to be appealing to a larger audience. And of course, there are regions where winters are very cold, which generally isn't a good thing for EVs, although Tesla has tackled this problem by adding a heat pump to keep the batteries at an optimal temperature to get as much range as possible. But this may not be the case with most other EVs out there, so the climate will play a role for some people when making a decision to buy an EV. Using heat on colder days and air conditioning on those hot summer days will drive down the range by a few percentage, which might not seem like a lot, but if you're already running low on battery, then these features might be best to just leave them off. I just realized this probably isn't helping those with range anxiety. But you know what? Keep watching because there's more that might actually help you get rid of it. So for those who don't have the option to charge an EV overnight, the range still remains as the key factor when considering switching to a fully electric vehicle. Currently, most non-Tesla cars have less than 200 miles, which is about 320 kilometers. Some even closer to 100 miles of range, which is about 160 kilometers. While even this range may not be a problem to those who only use their car to travel to work and running small errands within their own city and have the ability to charge overnight, this makes up only a small fraction of people. On average, Americans drive about 33 miles per day, or 53 kilometers, which would make any EV suitable for such day-to-day driving. Even if you happen to make a few extra trips and drive, let's say 50 or 60 miles in a day, you still could choose any EV in the market today. Tesla's Model 3 long-range version has 322 miles of range, which is approximately 518 kilometers, which is enough for most people. But with better batteries in the horizon, this range is now closer to 400 miles and will soon be available in every Tesla car. This begs for questions such as, should you wait before you buy a Tesla, or does it make sense to buy now? I'll get more into these questions in one of my upcoming videos that I'm already working on, as this topic deserves its own video because there's so much to cover on this topic. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future content. To some people, the range is the main factor when considering an EV, but for some it may be the performance or price or even features like autopilot and driver assistant technologies. Which one is important to you? Just answer the poll in this video and let's find out what is the main driving factor in 2020 when buying an EV. Let's face it, we've been kind of spoiled by gas guzzlers because we've become so used to not having to run to the gas station every other day, and the idea of having to do a long drive every once in a while doesn't even feel remotely scary because we know there's a gas station in almost every corner, and most of the cars today can easily drive 400 miles with a full tank. For instance, a Toyota Corolla can go about 450 miles with a full tank, which is about 724 kilometers. So in order to cater to everyone, having range close to what we have in today's ICE vehicles is an important factor, with a charging infrastructure to enable fast charging when on the road or slightly slower charging if the car is parked overnight. This is why Tesla is pushing boundaries with battery technologies and the charging infrastructure consistently. Rapid innovation is what Elon and his companies are known for these days, which is one of the reasons why Tesla has been buying companies like Maxwell and Hibar. Having EVs with over 400 miles of range on a single charge would be a game changer. This would enable those who have been on the fence about switching to an EV to finally begin to consider an EV as their everyday vehicle. Running to a charging station once a week or once in 2 weeks, depending on how much you drive each day, would be like going to a gas station. Now, of course, the charging times are still a little bit higher than we would like them to be, but this will also come down dramatically as technologies improve over time. In fact, Tesla superchargers are getting faster and faster. The latest version 3 supercharger can charge a Tesla Model 3 from 10% charge to 80% in less than 25 minutes. That's very close to the average time spent at a gas station when you're doing a longer trip, for example. You see, most people doing a road trip stop a few times along the way to fill the gas tank, buy some refreshments, and take a bathroom break, which will usually take anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. But if you're driving your EV for daily necessities such as to work and home and to go to stores, you might not want to wait even that long at a charging station, just like you're not spending more than 10 minutes at a gas station today. So the charging stations definitely have some way to go before they can reach charging times close to 10 minutes or less. As I said earlier, we've kind of been spoiled by ICE cars when it comes to these small things that actually play a big role. One important thing to remember though is that this is the transitional time period that we are living in right now. Just like with any major technological change or revolution in history, things never changed overnight. There was always that transitioning time period which took years before things started to normalize. This EV revolution that we are witnessing right now is no different. If we look back in history, a century ago, horse-pulled carriages or larger omnibuses as they were called were the main source of city transport. The first automobiles were introduced in small numbers around the turn of the century and they cost about $850. Now you must be thinking that's very cheap, but if you factor in the average income in those days, which was about $675 a year, $850 doesn't sound so cheap anymore, does it? To put this into perspective even further, that's the same as with today's average income in the US being $48,000 a year, which means that $850 would translate to almost $60,000. Would you pay $60,000 for a basic vehicle today? Probably not. For instance, a very good horse buggy used to cost about $50, including some made by the McLaughlin Carriage Co., which eventually became General Motors Canada. That's why most people still couldn't afford to buy an automobile in those days and rather chose to go with something that was more affordable. Soon after, the automotive technology started to progress rapidly and cars overtook horses on city roads in the 1920s, sparking a national economic boom but also new challenges for roads and infrastructure. So it took over 20 years for this to happen, and after 30 years, horses were almost completely replaced by cars. However, the shift from horses to cars was actually a 50-year period of change and was transformation complete with large safety, environmental, and economic challenges not unlike today. No transformation of great scale occurs without innovation, hard work, and significant change or disrupting the norm. The change we are going through now won't be an exception. EVs will take over ICE vehicles eventually, but the transitioning period may last anywhere from 20 to 30 years, just like it did when transitioning from horses to cars. And because most of the infrastructure is already there, it won't take 50 years to complete the transformation. The early adopters about 10 years ago could be considered the same as those who adopted the first automobiles in early 1900s. 10 years later, today, the technologies have improved a lot and the prices have come down significantly. With battery technologies improving each year and the cost coming down, the price of an EV will eventually start coming down even further, making EVs much more affordable than what they are today. In fact, Tesla has just dropped its prices up to 6% for Model X, Model S, and Model 3. Model X starting price came down from $84,990 to $79,990. Model S is down from $79,990 to $74,990, both saving you $5,000. Model 3 now starts at $37,990 $37,990, down from $39,990, so you have a $2,000 saving there. Improving technologies and cutting down on prices will accelerate the EV adoption rate, and we will see a huge boom in EV sales around 2023 and 2025. 2020 is almost halfway through and we have more EVs on the road than ever before. As of early 2019, there were over 5.6 million electric vehicles on the road worldwide, a 64% increase from the same time in 2018, and the second year in a row to see unprecedented growth in the EV market. And if it has continued at this same rate since then, there could be over 9 million EVs on the road by now, and this is expected to double every year. So for those of you who are considering to buy an EV in 2020, there are a number of factors that you may need to consider when switching to an electric car. Tesla cars are still considered modern-day luxury cars due to their higher than average price tag, but with the potential savings down the road and government subsidies, buying a Tesla might become slightly more appealing to some potential buyers. But to really hit the masses, the price tag would have to come down below $30,000 or even below $20,000, which they will over time, but those days may still be closer toward the end of this decade. And just a friendly reminder, don't forget to answer the poll in this video which I mentioned earlier so we can find out what is the main thing to still consider in 2020 when buying an EV. Things are improving and will continue to improve rapidly over the coming years, and with Tesla leading the way, we can expect the rate of innovation to accelerate even further from what it already is today. If you're still on the fence about switching to an all-electric vehicle, there must be a reason that I didn't cover in this video. If so, please share your views down in the comments below. Your opinions and views do matter, and they may even make it to one of my videos, so make sure you leave a comment. Alright, that wraps up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit that like button as this will help others who are interested in these topics to find this video and get the same information as you just did, which I hope was helpful or useful in any way. And by subscribing, you're not just helping this channel grow, but you're also helping yourself to stay up to date with the latest information in the EV world. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay notified when I drop new videos. I upload new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and occasionally there are some additional videos along the way, so staying notified will ensure that you don't miss anything. This channel has seen rapid growth lately, and it's all thanks to you guys. I'm very grateful for everyone helping this channel grow. Liking my videos and subscribing to my channel is by far the best way to show your support and help this channel grow. But if you would like to show more support, please visit my Patreon page for exclusive content and more. You will also gain access to EV Source Discord channel where you can chat with me and other patrons in real time. By supporting me on Patreon, you will help this channel grow, get better, and provide even better content to you, the viewers. You will also get mentioned in one of my videos, so if you're interested in any of this, check out the member perks on my Patreon page to see what benefits you will receive. This is the part that I hate the most because I have to say bye to all of you, but I hope to see you in the next video, so remember to keep charging ahead, and I'll catch you in the next one. So stay safe and take care.